Hi, welcome back. I'm Clint Hooper. I am a company member with New Theater, the technical director and scenic designer for our current production of Roof. And today I am sitting with our assistant director for Roof, fellow company member also, Melissa Ann Hubicsak. Melissa, thank you so much for being here and taking the time. It's been like
good to be on the other side.
Isn't it? It's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of funky being around like this. Which brings me to my first question for you. Actually, you and I, actually, as some of our viewers know, you and I co-starred in our last production, Footprints.
Yes, Footprints.
So your involvement with New Theater to date has primarily been as a performer, as an actor.
Only as a performer, yeah.
You've been in several productions, including Women Playing Hamlet, which was critically well received. It was a great show.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Let me ask you now, how has it been for you transitioning from being on the stage to behind the scenes now?
Well, actually, I'm always a little weary of directing. I have a tremendous respect for directors, and I always say I can't do it. But when the opportunity came about, and as a company member and being involved in New Theater, and the opportunity came about, and I was like, well, if I'm going to do it with anyone, it'll be Ricky, or he's one of the directors that I would love to shadow, and see. And funny enough, I've learned a lot about acting, being on the other side of it, because sometimes when you're in it, it's hard to, he'll tell you a note or throw a shoe at you. Just kidding, maybe not. And
he doesn't throw shoes. He throws bricks.
Yes. And sometimes it's hard to see, but being on the other side of it and seeing how, Ricky is fearless when it comes to directing. He will get somebody in there and he will roll up his sleeves and he will get in there with you. Like, he takes on challenges, he takes on people, he sees potential, like a little spark in someone, and he will take them on. Like, he's just fearless. He's not scared of anything. And also being a second pair of eyes, because since he did write Roof, it's hard sometimes when you're a playwright and director to kind of like, whose shoes are you filling in now? So he basically wanted a second pair of eyes, so to be kind of assistant to what he was doing. But the vision was truly his, and I would give my insight when I saw something and kind of be like, this is what I observed. So it's taught me a lot.
Let me ask you then now, because originally you weren't slated to be assistant director for this production. I've worked with New Theater for the past 10 years. In my experience, we very rarely, if ever, have an assistant director. It's not common practice for us.
Yeah.
So originally you weren't slated to be our assistant director. You were going to be working with us in a slightly different capacity that wouldn't have required as much time. So let me ask you, when it came to this particular show, and when the question was posed, can you come on board with us full time? We need your assistance here. What was it about this particular production that spoke to you, that made you say, yes, I need to be a part of this show? Because I know, having spoken with you in the past, you have a strong connection with this.
I do. I saw it being read at a play reading with a different cast of actors. And even though the script was raw and it wasn't fully formed, and it's a world premiere, so we're still kind of, he's probably going to tweak it before, it goes out, But when I first read it, it just resonating so much with me, the characters specifically, and just Miami, because I feel like, and Ricky says it too, I feel like, there's plays written about so many things and so many cities, and really Miami's voice is not really heard. So when I heard that play, I just had this very strong connection to it, that I remember telling myself, like, this play has to go out, like, I will do anything. I even went up to him after the play reading, I was like, whatever you need, I want to help you, like, develop this play, because I think it's something that needs to be heard. It's so relevant to Miami, it's an ode to Miami, and he says it.
Exactly, it's a Miami thing, because a lot of theater tends to, it's written to be in New York, it's written to be in Chicago. They pick these cities that are more renowned for having a theater community.
And I think something about, Miami's a very new city, and a lot of my friends, and I'm not judging that at all, I'm from New York, I was born there and raised, and I stayed here in Miami after I graduated from FIU because I wanted to be part of that pioneering, you know, really launching the arts here and staying and being one of those people like, why is it, and I've always had this insatiable question of like, why is it that everyone has to leave? And I respect New York. I love New York. I've performed in New York. You know, LA, everything, movies. I love all avenues. But I was like, why is it that Miami just hasn't like caught fire? And it catches fire for other things. But to build a strong community, and that's what Ricky's about, it really hasn't set off yet. And I really truly think that it's because, you know, since it's such a young city, we haven't really, we feel like we need to move to be respected. You know, like, oh, I'm an actor in Miami, what does that say? And I truly think it starts with, you know, accepting, you know, that we're a new city, in respect to all these other cities like New York, Chicago, but right. We still have something to say, and we still have a voice, and we have a unique voice. I mean, it's great. One of the lines in the play is that one of the characters say is that I could speak to you as other people in other plays, but what would be the point? I'm all Miami, you know. Yes. And that's the story right there. And I just like how raw it is, how unapologetic it is, and I think that it really speaks to me as an artist. And you know, it talks about all these places. I mean, I used to do shows in factories in Wynwood before it was Wynwood, you know, so to see how Miami has grown and to see this play that taps into that in a little bit is just, it's beautiful. Thank you.
So then let me ask you, because you're just like, you know, there's nothing written on these cards. She did this in the other interview, so I thought let me have them here because it looks professional, but whatever. So let me just ask you in the last question.
There you go, Happy birthday, New Theater.
And our last question here for you. Well, maybe not the last question. I'm going to hit you with one more.
Oh, God.
But let me ask you this. Why then? I mean, you've already started to touch on this. You really have. But let me see if you can just elaborate a little bit more.
God, I'm rambling.
Why is live theater so important to us right now? So significant to today's society, not just in the city of Miami, but on a global basis. Why is live theater still so important to us?
Well, not just right now, but I think always. Theater is a living art, you know, and it gives a chance when a playwright writes, or when, you know, a poet writes, you know, they write on a paper, and to have somebody breathe life into words that you've written, and to have it live. There's something about performing something live, and I know a lot of people have touched on it, but I truly believe it as well in the interviews that I've done. And that little magic in the air that anything can happen. Like you go to, and from anything, an actor can have a spur of the moment discovery to like the lights can like go off for some reason. Like it's just fun to be you're in it together. The audience is in it. Whether I know they're sitting over there, and in some performances we incorporate the audience, but it's just
in this show they are.
In this show you're incorporated, and it's just something you don't get when you read something on a page. Like to see somebody interpret and to breathe life into words and to see it before you just manifest, and then for you to be there in that moment that you're never going to have again. Like that moment is only happening right now as you sit, as I'm up here, or vice versa. That moment is that moment, and it will never happen again. So we can recreate it, we can study, we can have our skill, but it will never be the same moment, and there's magic in that.
Even if you come and see the play a second time,
yeah,
that moment
it won't
is
be
still
the
going to
same
be
play.
yes.
I've seen it a million times. I'm running the board as well. So like I'm not running the board.
She is also our assistant stage manager for this show. We're talking not just double duty, triple duty. She's just all over the place. Yeah,
so sitting there and watching the show, I mean, every show is different, and it's just fun to see them play and to see them discover new things as it's happening. I mean, it's been truly a joy to watch. So, yeah, come out and see it.
Okay, so now it's your turn. We posted a video. Many of you have seen it. We posted a video just a couple days ago about the burning question. We've given you little hints, but we still haven't answered the question. So now I am going to pose that question to Melissa and ask you the burning question. Maybe you can finally satisfy the curiosity of our viewers and tell us, who is Fefita?
I am.
She's not, though. That's the problem. You just made it even worse. Oh, this isn't a help. This isn't a help. But maybe, if anything, you have sparked their curiosity that much more. If you really want to know the answer to this question, who is Fefita? Please come and see Roof. We are playing now through May 1st. There's still tickets available. You can find them at newtheater.org. You don't want to miss this one. Melissa, thank you so much for taking the time out to do this with me. This has been so exciting. It was great to be able to turn the tables on you.
I know.
So nice to be able to
Don't take my job.
I'm not taking your job. Thanks for being with us.